Welcome back to Arsenal Daily Zone, the place where we break it all down properly, just real context and real analysis. And today, this is where seasons are defined. Not in the big nights, but in what comes after them. Because just days after that gritty Champions League win over Sporting CP, Arsenal are walking into a completely different kind of battle. Fatigue, disrupted recovery, injuries piling up, and a hungry AFC Bournemouth side waiting. This isn't just preparation. This is survival mode at the top of the Premier League. Let's step inside Arsenal's most intense training session yet. The session begins earlier than usual at London Colney, but the energy, heavy, not lazy, not slow, just loaded, because this squad didn't recover the way they usually do. After beating Sporting CP in Lisbon, Arsenal couldn't execute their standard post-match recovery protocol. No immediate return flight, no sleep in their own beds, no controlled recovery environment. Instead, a forced overnight stay in Portugal, delayed return, interrupted rhythm, and that matters. At this level, recovery isn't optional. It's performance. And Mikel Arteta knows it. That's why this session is split into phases with surgical precision, no wasted minutes, no unnecessary intensity early on, but don't get it twisted. This will escalate quickly. The first block is deceptively light. Mobility circuits, elastic band resistance work, short distance jogging, ball touches under minimal pressure. But the monitoring is relentless. Heart rates tracked, muscle response analysed, medical staff constantly communicating. Because players like Martin Odegaard are under serious scrutiny. He trained, but not fully. After coming off against Sporting with discomfort, his workload is carefully reduced. No explosive movements, no sharp turns. Just controlled involvement. Same situation with Bukayo Saka, present but not fully engaged. Individual drills, light touches, no contact, and then there are absences. Jurriën Timber, Piero Hincapié and Riccardo Calafiori are nowhere in the main group. That's a concern because this isn't rotation anymore. This is depletion. But then there's a shift, a boost, a return. Eberechi Eze steps onto the pitch, not full intensity, not full contact, but he's moving, sharp, confident, ball at his feet. That changes the mood instantly because just days ago he was expected to be out for weeks. Now he's back in the picture. Now the real work begins. Arteta steps in, whistle blows, and suddenly the tempo spikes. This is no longer recovery. This is preparation for a very specific opponent, AFC Bournemouth, a team with fresh legs, no European fatigue, no midweek distractions, and a clear plan to press and disrupt. So Arsenal simulate exactly that. Tight spaces, compressed pitch, minimal time on the ball. Every player is under pressure within seconds of receiving possession. Turn too slow, ball gone. Touch too heavy, punished. The message is clear. Bournemouth won't let you breathe, so you don't train like you have time. You train like you don't. Declan Rice becomes central to this phase. Literally, even with managed minutes, he's orchestrating transitions, receiving under pressure, recycling possession, breaking lines. He's not at 100% physically, but tactically, he's essential. Meanwhile, William Saliba commands the defensive structure. With injuries around him, his role expands. More communication, more organisation, more responsibility, because Bournemouth will target any weakness. Now, Arteta pushes the session into overload. This is where fatigue meets decision-making, full-pitch transitions, attack versus defence, immediate turnovers, no pauses, no resets, just chaos. And this is where cracks usually appear. But Arsenal are forced to adapt. Gabriel Martinelli is electric in this phase, direct runs, aggressive pressing, relentless energy. He's not waiting for the game to come to him. He's forcing it. On the opposite side, Kai Havertz operates differently, more composed, more calculated, finding pockets, timing runs exactly how he punished Sporting. And Arteta notices everything. He stops the drill repeatedly, not to slow it down, but to sharpen it faster. Quicker decisions, kill the moment. because against Bournemouth, there's no margin for hesitation. This is where Arsenal have been questioned. This is where Carragher's criticism lives. Final third execution, so Arteta isolates it. Small-sided attacking drills, one-touch combinations, overloads in wide areas, cutbacks, late runs into the box. Everything focused on one thing, being clinical, because dominating possession means nothing if you don't finish. David Raya is also heavily involved. Shot-stopping drills under pressure, quick-fire attempts, deflections, close-range reactions, because Bournemouth will get chances. And Raya has been Arsenal's safety net. Final phase, set pieces, corners, defensive organisation, zonal marking adjustments, second ball reactions. These are the moments that decide tight Premier League games, especially when legs are tired. Then comes the huddle. Arteta gathers the squad. Short, direct, no emotion, just clarity. This isn't about playing beautiful football anymore. This is about winning, grinding, managing, surviving. Because while Arsenal fight fatigue, their rivals aren't slowing down. Manchester City are waiting, watching, ready to capitalise on any slip. And here's the real issue. That disrupted recovery in Lisbon, it's not just inconvenience, it's competitive disadvantage. While Arsenal were stuck due to travel curfews, unable to follow their optimised recovery cycle, Bournemouth, resting, recovering, preparing, and that gap could show on the pitch. Add to that the uncertainty around key players like Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka and others. And suddenly this routine Premier League game becomes a potential trap. But Arsenal do have momentum. They do have belief. And they do have players stepping up when it matters. Just like in Lisbon. Now they have to prove they can do it again. Under pressure, under fatigue, under expectation. So the question is simple. But the stakes are massive. Can Arsenal overcome fatigue, injuries and disrupted preparation to keep their title charge alive? Or is this exact moment where things start to slip? Drop your score predictions below. Do Arsenal get the job done against AFC Bournemouth? And stay locked into Arsenal Daily Zone, because every game now is a final. What if Arsenal are winning, but still not convincing? Because right now, a bold claim from Jamie Carragher is shaking the narrative around Arsenal's season. And it could change how fans view this entire title race. A Champions League win, a crucial advantage, momentum regained. But according to Carragher, that performance might not be enough to win the Premier League. Let's break it all down. Jamie Carragher makes worrying Arsenal title claim after Champions League win. Jamie Carragher has suggested Arsenal will miss out on the Premier League title if they continue to play like they did in their Champions League quarter-final win over Sporting. The Gunners took a 1-0 lead back to the Emirates Stadium for next week's second leg, thanks to Kai Havertz's injury time winner. Arsenal had lost back-to-back games before their trip to Lisbon, suffering a Carabao Cup final defeat to Manchester City before a shock FA Cup loss to Southampton. It looked as though Mikel Arteta's side would have to settle for a draw against Sporting, but substitute Havertz came off the bench to score a late winner. Carragher said beating Sporting was a big result for Arsenal given their recent wobble, but was far from blown away by the Premier League leaders' performance. The Liverpool legend and ex-England defender even suggested Arsenal would once again fall short in the Premier League title race if they replicated that performance for the rest of the season. Arsenal boast a 9-point lead over Manchester City at the top of the table ahead of Saturday's home match against Bournemouth. It was a big result for Arsenal, but it wasn't a great performance, Carragher said on CBS Sports. They won, and that was the big thing after losing 2 games. But it wasn't a great performance. It wasn't like they played fantastic, but they won the game. But do you think if they play like that for the rest of the season, they will win the title? We'll see. Carragher, who won the Champions League with Liverpool in 2005, added, It will be tough for Sporting to get back into the tie now. Even though Arsenal didn't play well, it never really felt that they were in danger or being threatened. I didn't feel like Sporting could hurt them too much. It almost felt like a group game instead of a quarter-final. It was a completely different level of pace and probably quality compared to the Real Madrid-Bayern Munich game. Arsenal had them at arm's length and were never going to take many risks away from home. Arsenal match winner Havertz, meanwhile, was delighted to contribute to a much-needed win following 2 disappointing defeats in the domestic cup competitions. I think we needed that as we were all frustrated with how the last couple of weeks went, Havertz said. But it's time to move forward, it's time to be positive, and it's time to all stick together as a group. As players, staff, fans, we're all in this together, and we still can make something happen this year. It can be something very special. That's what we're going to go for. And now it's time to win games. Arsenal's Premier League title rivals Manchester City dropped vital points against Nottingham Forest and West Ham before the international break. But Pep Guardiola's side looked in ominous form as they beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final before thrashing Liverpool 4-0 in the FA Cup. In other news, Mikel Arteta praises magic Arsenal duo after win over Sporting. Mikel Arteta heaped praise on finishers Gabriel Martinelli and Kai Havertz for coming on and conjuring up the magic moment to steer Arsenal to victory over Sporting. The two teams had looked to be heading for a stalemate in Tuesday's Champions League quarter-final first leg, with Martin Zubimendi having a goal disallowed by VAR for offside in the second half. Not for the first time this season, David Raya was Arsenal's arguably standout player across the 90 minutes, producing 3 fine saves to keep the scoreline level at Lisbon's José Alvalade Stadium. But Arsenal rang the chances in the final 20 minutes in search of a winner, and the visitors were rewarded for their endeavour as Martinelli and Havertz combined to make the breakthrough in stoppage time. Having already caused problems off the bench, Martinelli cut inside with purpose before dinking the ball through to Havertz, who took a brilliant touch, set himself and coolly finished past Rui Silva. The Gunners held firm to preserve their narrow advantage in the dying moments, ensuring they take a 1-0 lead back to the Emirates in a week's time. After a difficult period for Arsenal, which saw the club's ambitious quadruple and treble hopes go up in smoke, Arteta told Amazon Prime, "Very happy to win away from home in the quarterfinals of the Champions League against a team that have not lost at home for I don't know how long. I think the last time was probably in Europe as well. That shows the difficulty of it. In the end, a magic moment from the finishers wins us the game. Beautiful, and that's the impact you need when you get to this stage of the season. Everybody has to make an impact, and they certainly did that tonight." After crediting Martinez and Havertz with changing the game off the bench, Arteta made sure to single out Raya on another phenomenal and exceptional performance between the sticks. He had 2 moments where he made 2 big saves, the Arsenal boss said of his fellow countrymen. That's the Champions League. The Champions League is always decided in the boxes, and because there's so much quality here. At the moment, he's phenomenal and extraordinary since he joined us. We are very lucky to have him. Despite securing the win, the Arsenal boss did not hide away from the fact that his side had struggled to find their rhythm in the final third. Yes, because when we got into the final third and we sat there, we missed the final bit, Arteta replied when asked if was concerned his side may fail to find the net. We had to be a little bit crisper, faster, more efficient to break them down when they had that block. We had a goal disallowed and there were 2 or 3 occasions where we were close, but we lacked that final pass. In his post-match interview with Amazon Prime, Havertz claimed 80% of his goal belonged to Martinelli for his incisive play and pinpoint assist in the build-up. "I was there to finish it off," the German forward, who came on in place of Martin Odegaard in the 79th minute, explained. But it was a top assist from him. I saw him and he just played the perfect pass and it was a good goal." On Raya's showing, Havertz added, "He's unbelievable. I still think people underestimate him in the football world, but for the last 2 years, I don't know, maybe he's been the best goalkeeper in the world and we're all glad to have him here." So here's the real debate. Is Jamie Carragher right to question Arsenal's level? Or are the Gunners showing something even more dangerous? The ability to win without playing their best. Drop your thoughts below. Are Arsenal genuine title winners this season? Or is a collapse still coming? And make sure you're locked into Arsenal Daily Zone.